Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit Center for Online Learning. I am the coordinator for this course, Professor Anand, Performing Analytics with Python. Learners, in this session we are going to learn about unit number 8, that is Data Analytics Part 1. Before we start the session, let us see the agenda for this session. In this session we are going to learn about the analytical process model, analytical model requirements, types of data sampling, sampling and types of data elements, visual data exploration and exploratory data analysis, handling missing values and outlier treatment. So, let us start with the very first topic for this session, that is analytical process model. So, what is analytical process model or what is analytics? Analytics is a science of applying the statistical methods or statistical techniques to the data set, so that we can find the patterns, we can identify the insights from we can identify the patterns and we can draw the insights from the data. So, basically when I say analytics, analytics is nothing but applying the scientific techniques or statistical methods to the data sets. Analytics will help organizations in extracting the valuable insights from the data sets to solve the complex business problems, to improve the processes, and which will make ultimately to make the informed decisions. So, basically analytics is a science of applying the statistical techniques to the data sets, so that the organization can extract the valuable insights which will ultimately help the organization to solve the complex business problems, and ultimately it will help the organization to make the informed decision. So, that is why data analysis is nowadays becoming very popular. Now, let us understand the analytics process model. What is analytical process model? So, primarily it is a template, it is a framework, that is analytical process is a template, or we can say it is a framework that defines the key phases of data analytics process. What are the steps, what are the functions, what are the steps? Understanding the analytical process model. So, basically it is a template, or you can say a framework that defines the key phases of data analytics. What are the functions, what are the different phases of data analytics? When I perform the data analytics, what are the different phases, what are the different steps? So, all those steps commonly when I combined it, it is called as analytic process model. So, basically it is primarily a template that defines the key phases of data analytic process, from defining a business problem to its solution, which starts from defining the business problem and ends with finding a solution to that business problem. So, it basically guides the organization to follow systematically when to conduct the data driven projects, thereby ensuring a systematic and organized approach. So, it guides the organization to conduct the data analytics in a systematic manner. Now, let us look at what are the different stages of analytics process model. Like I said that there are different phases, starting from defining the business problem to finding the business solution or finding a solution to the business problem. So, the first phase of the analytical process model is defining the business problem, or we can say business problem definition. It involves understanding the organization's objectives and identifying the specific business problems or the opportunities that can be addressed, that can be solved through analytics. Defining the clear goals and success criteria is essential in this phase to ensure the alignment with business objective. So, defining the business problem, defining them correctly is very important, otherwise you are solving the incorrect business problem, which will give you the insights, which will give you the results which are of no use. So, defining the business problem correctly is very important, and this is the first step in analytic process model. The second step of analytic process model is data collection and preparation. So, once the problem is been defined clearly, precisely, the second step is to collect the data and prepare the data for data analysis. So, once the problem is defined, the relevant data to the problem must be collected from various sources. It can be internal as well as it can be external as well. And data preparation involves cleaning the data, transforming the data and structuring the data to make it useful for analysis. So, when I say collecting the data includes many functions like capturing the data from internal or external sources, cleaning the data, transforming the data and structuring the data so that I am making it useful, I am making it prepared for data analysis. So, the second step of analytic process model is data collection and making them prepared for analysis purpose. The third step of analytic process model is data exploration and visualization. So, analysts examine the data to find out more about its features and interconnections. Trends, patterns and outliers in the data are visualized using the data visualization tools such as the charts and graphs. So, once you collect the data and you have prepared the data, the next step is data exploration and visualization, and through data exploration and visualization the analyst will examine the data to find out more about its features and interconnections between the data, and they will find out the trends, the patterns, the missing values or the outliers in the data by using different visualization tools like charts and graphs. The fourth step of data analysis process model is data modeling and analysis. So, once you have explored, once you have visualized the data, the next step is to model the data and analysis and make the analysis and perform the analysis part. So, this is very important phase where the heart of analytic process lies. So, this is very important step of the entire analytic process model, that is data modeling and analysis, as it is the heart of any analytic process model. Algorithms and statistical techniques are applied to the prepared data to derive the insights and make the future predictions or decisions, and the choice of modeling techniques will depend on the nature of the problem that you are solving. The modeling can be regression, it can be classification algorithm, or it can be a clustering model, etc. It depends on the nature of the problem that you are solving. The next step is deployment and monitoring. So, once you have analyzed the data, once you have modeled the data, the next step is the deployment and monitoring its results. So, a model or a solution needs to be implemented in the real world environment after it has been developed. So, to ensure that the model behaves as anticipated over the time, and to make the necessary corrections, a constant monitoring is essential. So, these are the different stages of analytic process model. So, it includes 5 steps of analytic process model, from defining the business problem to finding its solution and deploying it and monitoring the solution in the real world environment. So, this is the entire process of analytic process model. So, basically analytic process model is a template, is a framework which defines the various steps that I can apply, that a data set goes through in its entire life cycle to perform the data analysis, or to make predictions, or to help the organizations to extract the insights from the data and to make the informed decisions. Now, let us understand the importance of each of these steps. Each stage or each step that we have seen, there are total 5 steps. So, each step in the analytic process model plays a very crucial role in the success of an analytic project or analytic process. Defining the business problem ensures that the project is aligned with the business or the organizational goals. So, when you define the business problem, we need to ensure that it is aligned with the organization's objective. Defining a wrong business problem will lead to a wrong solution, will not match, will not align with organization objectives. So, we need to ensure that the business problem is very much aligned, is very much matched with the business or organizational objectives. Data collection and preparation ensures that the analysis is based on accurate and relevant data. So, here I am dealing with the relevant data, the consistent data and accurate data. I am collecting the data and making the data prepared for the analysis. Next, data exploration and visualization helps analytics to discover the insights, to discover the patterns, to discover the trends, to discover the outliers. The next step, that is data modeling and analysis, will lead to actionable insights or actionable outcomes. That is the use of data modeling, that it will ensure, it will enable for actionable outcomes. The last step is the deployment and monitoring is as crucial as the other 4 steps. Deployment and monitoring ensures that the solution remains effective in a changing environment. So, constant monitoring is also required when the model is being implemented in the environment. So, that we need to constantly monitor the model so that it remains effective in the even changing environment. So, these are the essence, these are the importance of 5 stages or 5 steps of data analytic process model. So, first, that is defining the analytical objective. So, here this step entails the establishing the project goals and objectives for analytics. What is your goal? Are you attempting to improve customer satisfaction? Are you decreasing the cost? Are you increasing the revenues? Are you addressing a specific issue? So, here I am defining the correct business objective, or what is the objective behind my analytic process. The analytic project will have a clear directions thanks to the well defined objectives, and the analysis will align with the organization's strategic goals. So, here we are defining the objective of performing the analytics process. The second step can be selecting the right data. So, selecting the relevant data is also very crucial. Choosing the appropriate data sources and data sets is critical for the success of any analytical project. The selected data should be relevant to the analytical objectives, and data selection also involves the consideration of data volumes, variety, velocity and veracity. These are the 5 V's of big data, and to ensure that the data can support the analysis. Third objective, that is data quality and reliability. In analytics, data quality is very crucial. Low quality data can produce false conclusions and bad choices. So, analyzing the dependability of the data sources and the techniques used to collect and preserve the data entails determining their reliability. Fourth one is identifying the key performance indicator, that is KPIs. What are the KPIs? The KPIs are measurable metrics that directly relate to the analytical objectives. Identifying the right KPIs ensures that the analysis focuses on what truly matters to the organizations. So, KPIs serve as the benchmark for evaluating the success of the analytical project model. Fifth one, model performance metrics. So, to assess the effectiveness of an analytical model, you need to define the appropriate performance metrics, and these metrics depends on the nature of the problem that we are solving and the type of the analysis. For example, accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score for classification models, etc. Performance metrics helps in quantifying how well the model is meeting the defined objectives. So, the KPIs are very important to assess the effectiveness of any analytical model. Sixth one, interpretability and explainability. In many applications, it is crucial that the results and the decisions made by the analytical model are interpretable and explainable. The stakeholders need to understand why the model arrived at a certain conclusions, and in machine learning algorithm are inherently complex, making interpretations challenging. So, this aspect needs careful consideration. Seventh, scalability and efficiency. Any analytical model must be scalable, especially if you are anticipate a future with a lot of data. Increased data loads should be handled by the model without noticeably affecting their performance. So, efficiency considerations include the computational resources required for analysis, and can the analysis be performed in a reasonable amount of time and with available hardware. Eighth, analytical project must adhere to all applicable legal and ethical requirements. So, this is very important. Considerations may include data protection legislation such as GDPR, industry specific rules such as the healthcare regulations, and moral standards for the use and analysis of data. To avoid the dangers to the project's reputation and legal standings, it is essential to ensure that it complies with these criteria. So, always remember that the analytical project must comply to all the legal and ethical requirements. Now, let us look at the type of data sources, sampling and types of data elements. So, when I talk about the data sources, it can be internal data sources, it can be external data sources. Internal data sources like your books of accounts, your reports, your journals, your annual report, your balance sheet, all these are the internal reports. External reports, the data which is available on the internet, on the web, in the newspaper, on the external journals, in the seminars. So, all these are can be used as a external data sources. Now, what are the data collection methods? Again, there are different types depending on the availability, depending on the applicability, depending on the affordability of the organization. One can select any of these data collection methods like surveys, sensor data, social media data, or web scraping data as well. So, these are the different methods by which I can collect the data. As the nowadays we have a data explosion, data is everywhere. Only thing is that we need to use a proper method to collect the data. Not only to collect the data, we need to arrange the data, we need to clean the data, we need to transform it, we need to remove the outliers. Then after that we need to extract the insights, we need to draw the conclusions, the future predictions from that data. Now, let us understand the types of data elements. What can be the types of data elements? It can be categorical data, which comes in different categories. It can be in a numerical data in the forms of numbers. It can be a time series data, which is generated at regular intervals for measurement purpose, for any other purpose. So, the time series data. Next is a text data, and the last one is a geospatial data, that is the data which is related to geography, the physical locations of the object, so that we can find out the location of any object on this earth surface by using the geospatial data. So, the data which is related to the geographical data, which is related to the geography, comes under the geospatial data. So, these are the different categories of data. It can be categorical, it can be numerical, it can be a simple text data, it can be a time series data, or it can be a geospatial data, that is geographical data, the data which is related to the geography, the data which is related to the earth surface. Now, let us understand the exploratory statistical analysis and visual data analysis. Data analysis and decision making both benefit from the use of data visualization. So, from the data visualization benefit the data analytics and decision as well. It entails displaying the data in a graphical manner or in a visual formats to facilitate the understanding and analysis and sharing of insights. So, when the data is present in a visual format, that will facilitate understanding the data very easily. It will help me to analyze the data easily, and I can share the insights that I have gained from the data. So, data visualization will help both the data analytics and the decision makers as well. So, here are some key reasons why data visualization is important. It will enhance the understanding. So, data visualization will give you more knowledge about the data. So, it will enhance your understanding of the data. It will increase your communication, or it will help to in effective communication. We can effectively communicate the data that we have learned, that we have found the insights, that we have gained the insights from the data, and we can effectively communicate the insights. We can share the insights with other parties, that is, it will help in effective communication. Data exploration, definitely by using the data visualization we can explore the data to a next level. We can find more and more patterns, we can find more and more insights once you explore the data, and that is possible when you visualize the data. And definitely, like I said, it will help the decision making as well. And the last but not the least, it will help in pattern recognition. We can find the different patterns from visualizing the data. When the data is presented in numbers, in strings, it is difficult as a human being to find the insights, to gain the understanding of the data. But when the same data is presented visually by using visual tools, then it becomes easier in understanding the data. It will help in effective communicating that the insights. It will help in data exploration. It will help me in decision making, and it will help me in extracting, in finding out the patterns, that is pattern recognition. Now let us understand the types of data visualization tools. What are the tools that I can use for making my data visually available or for data visualization? There are different plots are available, like for example scatter plots, histogram graphs, box plots, heat maps and time series plots as well. So depending on the application, depending on the data that you are dealing with, you need to use a proper visualization tools, like you can use scatter plot, you can use the histogram, you can use the box plot, heat maps and time series plots. If your data is in time series, then you can go and use the time series plots as well. Now the next concept is very important, that is how to handle the missing values and outliers in the data and how to treat the outliers. So understanding the missing data is very important. Missing data refers to the absence of a value in a data set, which can occur for various reasons. It can be a error in data collection. Due to a machine malfunction, there is an error in data collection. Due to the non-responses in surveys, that particular column, that particular field remains blanks. So there are many reasons why there is a gap in my data set. So understanding the missing data is very important. Why the data is been left out, what are the reasons, whether it is due to the malfunction of the machine, whether it is due to the non responses from the in the survey, what exactly the reason. And handling the missing data is very crucial, because it can lead to a biased or inaccurate results in a data analysis and modeling. So here we need to fill out that missing data. First we need to find out the missing data, why that data has been missed, why it has been left out. After that we need to fill out that data, we need to handle that missing data very carefully by using some solutions. So handling the missing data is crucial, because it can lead, if you just left the missing data as it is, then it can lead to a biased or inaccurate results in the data analysis and modeling, and which ultimately will give you the wrong insights. So that is why we need to not only identify the missing values, but we need to treat those missing values very meticulously. So proper treatment of data of missing values ensures that the data set integrity and reliability is maintained. So proper treatment of missing values, the outliers, is very important to maintain the data sets integrity and reliability as well. Now what are the techniques which are used for handling the missing values or handling the missing data? There are different techniques. Say for example imputations. So again, when I say imputations, I am using different techniques. It can be mean mode imputation, it can be mode imputation, it can be forward fill imputation, it can be backward fill imputation. I can fill up the data based on my experience, based on practical experience, based on judgments. So it depends on the data that you are dealing with. It depends on the missing values that you are filling with. So on that basis we can use different imputation techniques. Like I said, that I can use mean mode imputation techniques, I can use backward fill, forward fill, even I can manually fill up the missing values or outliers in the data set. So these are the different techniques, that is imputation can be one. The second one can be advanced imputation techniques, like using the machine learning algorithms like the k nearest neighbors algorithm. So, using this advanced imputation technique also we can fill up the missing data in the data set. Now, how to identify and handle the outliers? Outliers are the data points that significantly deviate from the majority of the data. So, the outliers are the exception values, the extreme values, the values which are out of range of my data set, they are called as outliers. They deviate from the majority of the data set, means what? They are out of range of my basic data set, and they can distort the statistical analysis, means what? They can lead to biased decision making. So, they can distort the statistical analysis and modeling results. So, identifying and handling the outliers is very essential for maintaining the accuracy, the integrity and the reliability of the data analysis. So, finding out the outliers and treating them is very crucial from the point of view of reliability of data analysis. Now, what are the techniques for recognizing and handling the outliers? Again, there are some techniques. Say for example, I can use the z-score technique, which will calculate how far a data point deviates from the mean by counting the standard deviation. Again, the outliers are the data points having z-score over a predetermined level. For example, it can be 2 or 3. So, the data points or the score of my z-score is over the predetermined value. So, for example, 2 or 3, I can consider that value as a outlier, and outliers are the data points that fall outside the 1.5 times the IQR range, below the first quartile or above the third quartile according to the interquartile range method. And this approach is frequently chosen for skewed data distributions because it is resistant to extreme values. So, with this we come to the end of this session. I hope you have enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.